Hi. Excuse me. Hi, it's Dr. Spencer. I thought I'd take you for a tour of the course. We're going to start here in modules. Module 0 has lots of important information. Let's start with this. I want to just point out that it's best to use my email address, which in essence is just my name, lee.spencer@asu.edu, rather than using the whatever it is you all have here. I don't have it communicate with the professor or something, because my experience is when you use whatever this tool is over here for you all, you can't submit attachments, or I can't send attachments very well. So it's best always to use my email address. This is a video that's made by the university about how to use Canvas. I haven't watched it in a while. I assume that it's still relevant and pertinent. This is a picture of me with my dog Dala. She's named after Princess Amidala of Star Wars. I'm a licensed psychologist. I received my PhD in clinical psychology from ASU in 1982. I had a private practice in marital or relationship and sex therapy for 25 years, and I actually began teaching this course in 1981, long before most of you, or even a twinkle in any parent's eye. I taught in the classroom for decades, and then I moved to this online format about 10 years ago. We'll get to talking about ordering the text when we go to the syllabus in a minute here. Let's go back to the modules. All of your tests will be taken with Respondus Lockdown Browser. Here are resources for you regarding Lockdown Browser. You will need a computer with a camera, and the Lockdown Browser will record you while you're taking the exams and final exams and chapter tests. You cannot use any other materials while you're taking chapter tests or final exams. You simply need to keep your eyes on the screen. Your eyes shouldn't be going anywhere else. Let's go back. The community forum is where you would submit questions that you have of me, or other students can answer the questions as well. This is a great place to ask a question that you think might pertain to other students. If your question is very personal, you can certainly email me privately. And here is where one would subscribe. I encourage you to subscribe. There's not a lot of traffic here. You won't feel overwhelmed. But this way, any posts that come to the community forum will also come directly to you. There is a syllabus and welcome letter quiz that you can take. It is worth 5 extra credit points. That is, these 5 points are not included in the point total for the course. It's a way for you to be sure that you know how to use the Lockdown Browser. I encourage you to do this immediately as soon as you get into the course, whether that's tonight after midnight or sometime after Monday, the first day of class. I'm taping this at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, and you all should be dropped into the course after midnight tonight. It's important to make sure that you know how to use the Lockdown Browser before you face your first deadlines for your chapter tests 1 and 2. Almost all of the course is delivered in the form of play-pause-it video lectures. I don't know why this isn't loading. I might need to fix that if it doesn't hurt. Oh, there we go. It tells you how you can proceed through the play-pause-it videos. In each of the video lectures, about every minute, I stop and there's a multiple choice question. More than 60% of the points in this course come from these play-pause-it questions. They help you to stay focused, but they also make sure that you can gather lots and lots of points. And then there's the course schedule. Each week, or each module, we take 2 chapters. All deadlines are 11:59 p.m. on the date specified below. Now, I want to point out here that there are discussion boards. There's one for each chapter. So we have 1 and 2, 1 and 2. When you do the discussion boards, you first do your initial post, and those are due on Thursday. Now, I want to point out that Canvas will not remind you of that deadline. I will remind you of that deadline. I simply couldn't bring myself to add 14 other columns to the already incredibly long grade book. So it's entering something in the grade book which triggers Canvas to let you know about the deadline. So as you might imagine, you're going to do initial posts, and then you're going to do 2 response posts. 1 agree and 1 disagree. That is, you need to find a post that you can agree with and a post that you will disagree with. The initial posts are due on Thursday, and the response posts are due on Monday. As you might imagine, it wouldn't make sense to have them all due on Monday because lots of folks wait to the last minute. And some folks take their discussion posts seriously and would really like to take some time to find the responses, to find the posts that they want to respond to. So that's why initial posts are due on Thursday, response posts are due on Monday. But you can feel free to do anything prior to a deadline. You don't have to do anything on the deadline. Now here you see that the video lectures are also due on the big deadline day is Monday. Video lectures, response posts, and chapter tests are all due. This is the first Monday after we start the semester on the 12th. Now I want to point out that these video lecture deadlines, I put them in here so that Canvas will remind you about doing the video lectures. However, the deadlines for the video lectures are what we call soft deadlines. And what I mean by that is there is no penalty for doing these after this deadline. Every single one of the video lectures in the course is available to you starting after midnight tonight, right up into the very last moment of the semester, which is March 3rd at 11:59 p.m., without any penalty, no matter when it is that you complete them. So we have, again, it's the same pattern for each of the 7 weeks. Again, we're going to do 2 chapters in each week for a total of 14 chapters in the textbook. And then the final exams. There's final exam 1 that covers chapters 1 through 7, and final exam 2, which covers chapters 8 through 14. After you finish chapter 7, I will send out an announcement encouraging you to take this first final exam. That's a lot of material there. You'll want to take it while this material is reasonably fresh in your brain. And then you've taken care of the first half of the course. And then, of course, you can take the one for chapters 8 through 14 towards the end of the semester. Okay, let's go back. Now, that's the Module 1, which you will have access to, and it's important that you familiarize yourself with all the material in the Module 1. Module 00. Module 00 is an academic integrity pledge, which you need to take in order to get access to the rest of the course. You're seeing the rest of the course because I'm in as a faculty member, but you wouldn't see this unless you first respond to this. So in order to see this, I have to pretend that I'm going to edit it so we can get in and read it. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Edit. I don't want to do that either. I'll just click on it and edit it from here. What does it say? Oh, I know I need to go up here to the questions. Your chapter tests and final exams are closed book, which means that you may only rely on your memory for the test. You are not allowed to use any written or printed material, including your notes, textbooks, and are not allowed to use any electronics such as smartphones, tablets, etc. while you take the test. Your work must be independent. You cannot communicate with others. This would be a violation of ASU's academic integrity policy, which may result in a failing grade for the course. To get credit for the chapter tests and final exams, you must show a photo ID, keep your whole face within the frame of the webcam throughout the session, and not appear to be communicating with anyone or using any materials. If you have to take the test in a public place that requires you to wear a mask, you can briefly pull the mask down at the start of the test to show your whole face, and then you can return the mask to its appropriate place. Respondents might keep flagging you, but you need not worry about that as long as your face stays within the frame of the webcam throughout the entire test. Strict adherence to ASU's academic integrity policy is expected at all times. Absolutely any attempt to cheat on a test, to assist someone else in cheating, or to otherwise compromise academic integrity is considered sufficient reason for assignment of a failing grade for the course and for sanctions under ASU policies and procedures. Again, you are not permitted to reproduce any testing materials from this course. Again, a violation of academic integrity. With regards to the discussion boards, you may not use AI. The discussion boards are simply asking for your opinion or feelings about a particular topic, and I'm certain that you will be able to respond to the discussion board prompts without the use of AI. If it's pretty clear that AI is used, you will not likely to get any points for your posts. So you respond true or false. If you say true, then you get 1 point, again, an extra credit point, and then you can get into the body of the course. Let's go back to modules. So again, module 0 with these materials in here. And then we have the Academic Integrity Pledge. And here I just want to show you an example of what each week looks like. So we have all the video lectures here listed, and they are listed with the number of points that you will get for each one. And again, the deadline being a soft deadline. And then you have the PowerPoints that I used when I produced these video lectures or taped these video lectures. Here is your discussion board prompt for Chapter 1, and then here is your test. And again, the same thing for Chapter 2, all the video lectures, the PowerPoints, the discussion board, and then the chapter tests. I create this for you each week, which outlines everything that's due during the week. Again, each of the video lectures, the length of time of the video lectures, the number of questions embedded within the video lectures. The discussion board post, you get 3 points for the initial post and 2 points, 1 for each response post, 1 point for an agree, 1 point for a disagree, then the chapter test, and then the point total for the chapter 1, and then the same thing for chapter 2, as is the same thing for chapters, all the other chapters 3 through 14. So that's pretty much your modules, 0, 0, 0, and then all of the course material. Coming all the way down to the end, and I put in the last week the final exams. Whoops. Let's go all the way down here. Final exam 1, final exam 2. Let's go to the syllabus. Your textbook is an ebook. It is, last I checked, $53.95. You would use this link to buy the textbook. I highly encourage you to do that. While every single question within the video lectures is included in the test item banks, there are also items from the textbook. So the video lectures will not prepare you fully for your tests. You will also need to read the textbook as well. Let's see, computer requirements. I have learned that the iPad will not allow you to take chapter tests. It's supposed to, but I don't think it does. And certainly any other tablet, you can watch your video lectures and do your discussion boards on your iPad, but I don't think you can take your tests on the iPad. You'll need a laptop or a desktop. So there are 1,881 points in this course, a heck of a lot of points. I create all these points, and I create all these opportunities with the PlayPosit video lectures. You can pass this course by just doing the video lectures, almost. You should do a little more. And there are so many points that you can afford to lose a whole bunch of them and still get, here you can see, you can afford to lose 61 points and still get an A+. So I've set up the course so that you should never give up. That is, if you just keep plugging along, you can pull off a pretty decent grade. So we've talked about all of this. If you are not able to make a chapter test, it's important that you let me know before the assignment is due, and I will route all of your requests for deadlines to the Office of the Dean of Students. But again, that request needs to come to me prior to the deadline. We already talked about the community forum, talked about how, I don't know why I don't want to move me away. I can't get down here. Using my email. These are other issues that you want to address that are standard for all syllabi. Now, what I want to do is go to announcements, but I want to go in as you, because they have all these announcements that I have scheduled that you will find will come up when they are necessary. Short semester, in other words, you really have to work double time when you have a 7.5-week semester instead of a 13-week semester. So you'll need to be prepared to devote a bunch of time to this course. You're responsible for being familiar with all the items in Module 0, which we just went through. All violations of academic integrity will be referred to the Dean's office, and all requests for deadline extensions. We sort of already went through that. Let's go back. There's some other important announcements. The time commitment, this is a video, no, it's a page that's created by ASU Online. This is a documentary on masturbation that I found a long time ago that I found interesting. I have a Facebook group. Not very many people are in it. I know you all are probably not too keen on Facebook, but I like to post news items related to sexuality there, so I think it's an interesting place. The discussion boards, here is a long document that describes all of the requirements for the discussion boards. Again, initial posts are due Oh no, this is wrong. I have to fix this. Initial posts are due on Thursdays and response posts are due on Mondays. I'm glad I looked at this. I'll need to go back and fix that. That was from a different semester. Let's see. This is a discussion board checklist that was generated by a student several semesters ago. It has her name on it, and because it's a PDF, I couldn't really change it, but I thought she did a nice job. So don't try to contact her because she's no longer my TA. The TA is the person who does the discussion boards. Okay, close. Let's go back over here. This turned out to be an issue for a student. Evidently, if you use the Canvas app on your phone, it will not give you appropriate due dates. It gets confused if you're living somewhere else. It might be handy for pushing announcements, but it doesn't adjust for Arizona time zone. So be clear that when it comes to due dates, it's really important that you're consulting your laptop or your desktop or your tablet. Okay, this is really important. Let's see if I don't know. I think I can take you there. So there's an opportunity for you. It might even be the default option to check this box, calculate based only on graded assignments. This is not a check that you will want to make. In other words, what it says is if you only do like a quarter of the semester, but in that quarter of the semester you did pretty well, you'll end up feeling like you're doing really well in the course. But in as much as you've only completed a quarter of the semester or tackled a quarter of the points, you're really failing. That is, this course is really about generating points, gathering points. And so it's really important that you not check this because this will lead to some misunderstanding about where you are in the course. But I will also remind you about this every week when we do what are known as academic status exams, academic status reports, not exams. So again, I don't know why, but I've tried to fix this. But Canvas does not give accurate feedback regarding your grade. Here's an example of, it's not a very good example. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, so here somebody has 495 points and is getting an A minus, and A plus has 526, but 127 points, they're getting a B according to Canvas. Now, they clearly checked that box that I just told you not to check, because of the few points that they took a shot at, so to speak, they did pretty well. They did it at a B level, but this is not B level performance at this point in the course. Okay, I think that's about it. I hope that you enjoy the semester, and be sure and let me know if you have any questions that come up, and I will be happy to help.